everyone, and welcome back to the final round of the Gold Eagle Open. We are on the back nine at Jackfish Lake, and boy, do we have an ending for you. This is Andre in the booth, and I got Jesse with me to finish this round out.
Hello.
As always, thank you PDJ Canada, and thank you to our patrons of Park Pro. Like we mentioned, Jackfish Lake, a lot of challenge on this one, less wind than in round one, but these guys are, they're playing their hearts out here. And we talked a lot about the focus that these guys are showing. And, we're about to see the scores here. And we got two guys at the top, Noah and Thomas, who are just battling out here.
Yes, absolutely. These are our round scores. Thomas, his 6 down is telling the story of the tournament right now. Able to get his chin just above Noah. And, Marshall, a little bit of a slower start. He is still in contention for that 3rd place spot, but he's got some work to do.
All right, we have some FPO action to bring to you guys before we get to the back nine. Teri Hong is currently sitting at -2. Bailey Inglis is at +2. And Kadie Hozempa is she's a few back, and here we are on hole 18. It's a par 3, 292-foot hole. This is a little preview for you guys of what the MPO will come up in just a little while. But yeah, this FPO, last year Teri, she had a really huge battle with Bailey on this one. Bailey was able to take it down, so let's see if Teri can walk this one in.
Yeah, 18. Well within range for these ladies, and the danger being maybe pulling your disc over to the right or just pushing it too far off the backside where the hill slopes the most. Teri getting tucked in and locked in, ready to play her final hole here.
Yeah. Bailey, it looks like Bailey will be up first here. As we mentioned, Teri does have a few strokes on Bailey here, but there is some out of bounds and some hills to play with. So if Bailey can put this one close, which looks like she's not going to do, as this one, maybe a little bit too much air underneath that one, it's going to go down the hill.
Yeah, that is tough, especially when you're the one down by 2. You want to stick this one and make that mistake, something that Teri has to avoid, and she looks like she's spot on with this drive.
Yeah. Oh, unfortunately getting some ground play there, and that one looks like it's going to skip down the hill after scaring the basket.
I wonder if she hit the concrete under the basket to produce that much skip.
Yeah, that was
a rocket.
Yeah, that was crazy. It looked like it gained speed after hitting the ground.
All right, let's go find our desk.
Kadie will also end up on the hill, a little less down the hill than the other two ladies, but huge thanks to Eagle Ridge Rentals for making coverage like this possible.
You hear the crowd cheering. Looks like Bailey must have stuck it close. Now see if Teri can match her.
She does get it up the hill, but not quite as far as Bailey did. So, she does have those few strokes to be able to walk this one in. And you can see she's a little nervous.
Couple deep breaths, gonna settle herself out. We'll see if our Yikun sponsored player can make this big putt and seal the tournament.
Yeah, and she has been chasing these big wins for a long time, and what a great putt to end the tournament. Look at the relief and the smiles. You love to see it.
Yeah, all the weight off your shoulders. That seals the deal for her, and she gets to go home a Gold Eagle champion. Look at the camaraderie from these girls. Our FPO in Canada are some of the most supportive players I've ever seen.
Oh, 100%. It's a blast to see them at all these events and be able to film them, even if it is just for a few holes towards the end of a tournament. We try to get as much FPO coverage as we can. Unfortunately, these ladies playing at the same time as the MPO made that not possible at this event, but we were so happy
I am pleased to once again
watch this final hole.
Present this trophy to our FPO Gold Eagle champion for 2024, Miss Teri Hong.
That's Teri's character right there. Letting some raw energy out. Love to see it.
Thank you to my sponsors, Equine Disc, VR Disc Golf, Beast, and T-Box Socks. You guys rock. And Park Pro, you guys are cool too.
Yeah, we're cool
Thanks,
too.
Teri.
And Evan, you're cool too.
Yeah, well-deserved win for Teri. You know, it's been a long time coming. She's come close on this at this event a couple times, so love to see it. And she is also, with that win, leading the Canadian Disc Golf Tour overall standings at 595 points with a solid lead over Gabby and Bailey, who was also at this event. So
Yeah, tight in the top 3 there. Not a ton of disc golf left in the Canadian Disc Golf Tour, so it could be decided at our final events.
going back to MPO coverage here, we have hole 10. It's par 3, 299 feet. This one, you're going to want to put it over top of the trees here, but the real challenge is the anthill that we are about to descend upon here. And it's all about where you want to put your disc, off the drive or off the layup. You know, it's a really hard hole to put it in for birdie.
Yeah, the front side a little more forgiving than the back, which drops off almost vertically. One where we've seen some putting woes before, and you can definitely set yourself up for a lot of back and forth if you don't take your medicine.
Yeah, this one really could be entertaining. If someone like, you know, say Luke, for example, looking to get a couple strokes, if he's got to look at a putt, he's going to take it.
Oh, most definitely. This is the time in the tournament. If you're trying to charge, you got to take a deep breath and, roll the dice a couple times.
And that was an amazing drive from Noah. And, you know, you have to wonder if he's a stroke back. Does he go for it on that one? We'll have to see what Thomas does here.
He takes the hyzer play over the trees, comes up a little short. That is firmly in layup territory.
Here's Luke's forehand play. That looks like it could be pretty close. He does that. As you can see, he has the power to get there on the forehand. Marshall opting to go forehand as well. Just a great placement.
Yeah, and a spot that's going to ask for a putt.
There's Thomas wisely laying that one up. Marshall doing the same. Kind of dropping off at this point from being able to challenge for the win, but Noah here getting the birdie. What a great birdie to get. That is not something you see very often.
No, he knows the work he has ahead of him, and he's got confidence in his putting stroke right now. I'm very impressed with that putt.
Look at this drive from Luke. What a great spot to land in as well. Managed to stay up on top of the hill and get his birdie as well.
Smart work from these guys laying up, not allowing any red on their scorecards. I know Marshall's probably thinking he'd like to get a couple strokes right now, but, for not getting one there, it's better than not losing two.
We take another look at Noah's form here on that drive. Look at this putt. With confidence. You'd love to see it. You can just see the elevation change there and walking that one in real fast.
Yeah.
Hole 11, it's a par 3, 390 feet. Just have to hit this initial gap and have something crash into the fairway and as close to the basket as you can get. Likely to leave a lot of long putts here.
Yeah, we saw in round one that the play was to cut the hyzer as tight as possible on the left side with a good amount of power, and that disc will start coming out at the right time, nestle up into the green. Problems if you push it too flat, too straight, get a little tied up in the trees too far to make a run at the basket.
Mm-hmm. Noah up first after getting the rare birdie on hole 10. Putting this one up and over. That looks like it's going to be a great play, and he will have a birdie look.
Yeah, it just shows you how tight you have to take that left side. Luke wider, but more angle, more height. This might work out as well.
little overpowered on that one, it looks like. Here's Thomas. Maybe feeling the pressure a little bit. Really tight on that inside.
Yeah, I like how tight it was.
Wow.
He will
what
too.
a shot.
Yeah,
My goodness. That
maybe
was-
just slightly low, but otherwise perfect.
yeah. And you could just see the two different height choices between, him and, a guy like Luke. Marshall getting this one pretty close too. He'll have the group of brush to contend with, but
I'm outside, right?
able to get it around it pretty easy, it looks like. The fact that Marshall is out here is a testament to how good these drives are.
And how good that putt looked.
What a great putt.
Yeah, Marshall missing a couple in the front nine. Definitely wishing they all looked like that because that was a smooth stroke and a great putt.
Here is Luke. He's in the trees a little bit, but it looks like he does have an open look at the basket. Able to get that one in right in the heart.
Yeah, another great putt for our group.
Here's Thomas, able to put his birdie in. You have to think that Noah, looking at the shortest putt of the group, we are able to get a star frame on this hole.
And we stay all tied up at 20 under par. That's almost quadruple what the bottom of the top 10 is right now.
Yeah, and these guys are just battling so hard, and it's almost elevating all of their games. And Luke is the guy that he's still trying to chase those guys down. He's running out of holes, but he's not completely out of it either.
Yeah, there's no quitting Luke, and I really respect that about his game.
Here we have hole 12. It's a par 3, 389 feet, playing downhill. This is one that you'll want to put. We talk about airspace. You want to put it in the proper airspace, get the right height, have it crash through this gap, land somewhere in the fairway or close to the basket here.
Yeah, the late gap is the thing to contend with, but a lot of guys will throw like a pushing hyzer that shapes up nicely to get all the way to the basket.
Yeah, as we take a look back from the basket up to the tee pad, it really shows the elevation change, especially seeing as how this drone is about 30 to 40 feet in the air. So Noah coming off of 3 birdies in a row, looking to put the pressure on Thomas. That's a great shot.
Yeah, the over-the-top play is available.
Is that really good, really bad?
We'll probably see that from Luke here. Just getting enough angle to get it come down and not tangle up in the left side trees.
See Luke here, maybe a little bit early to the left, but that looks like a great shot.
Yeah, leaves himself a 18-footer.
Here, Thomas so clean, pulling this one a little bit to the right, but could work out for him.
Yeah, it looks like he just had the height to make it happen without getting buried in the trees.
Here's Marshall. What a shot.
Yeah, that's
I think it's like
perfect control of his
Okay, I'll
disc,
take it. I
height,
thought it was
angle,
only
everything.
It's funny because, we see how good of a shot that was, but these guys don't see the basket from the tee box. So that's why you're not getting that reaction. I'm sure if they saw how close that was, they would have gotten more of a reaction.
Noah's opportunity to take the solo lead here, and yeah, his face says it all.
Yeah, he knew that was an opportunity. And here's Luke. He able to get a stroke on both those guys, and don't look now, but he's only 2 back.
Yeah, he's closing the gap here, finishing out his second turkey of the round, only 1 bogey for a combined 7 under par through 12.
Here's Noah putting in his par. But she had that last putt back. Thomas able to drop that one in. Marshall to do the same.
Yeah, what a well-played hole. Maybe some confidence off his last putt, just walking up to the tee box, feeling yourself, knowing that you're going to do well.
There we go, the stereotypical Marshall tongue-out drive.
And a tasty shot.
What a tasty shot. Speaking of tasty, head over to Deja Vu Cafe. Thank you for supporting the coverage. So take a look at Gold Eagle. There it is, the casino. Also a big part in putting this event together. So take a look at our scoreboard. Thomas and Noah tied at the top, -20. Luke, as we mentioned, chasing those guys down at -18. Marshall falling off the pace a little bit at -12. Kyle and Jacob both at -9. Brandon at -8. Dan and Eric at -6. And we got Kristen Roach rounding at our top 10 at -5.
Yeah, barring anything too dramatic, it looks like our top 4 will be the ones on the podium.
Here we go for hole 13. It's a par 3, 438 feet. This one is a well manicured, very pretty looking hole. Lots of fairway for you to put it into. And you really just want to put this somewhere in this area to give yourself a nice long look at a birdie. Just looking to give yourself a chance.
Yeah, another one where anything that looks at the basket is going to play. It's a big ask as a par 3 for, the caliber of play we have and how uphill it is.
But if anyone can get it there, it's Luke, but he's not going to do it as he doesn't quite get the angle that I think he intended there.
Yeah, he cooked that disc. Maybe just needed a little bit more height so it had time to swing back in.
Here's Marshall. Just looking this one to land nicely in the fairway. And it does that. Playing this one for par.
Luke's unhappy. I'm happy.
One of our co-leaders here, Noah. Getting a little flip on this. This is looking really nice. If you can avoid the trees, but we'll see what kind of a look he has from there. Here's Thomas with a clean scorecard so far.
Yeah, maybe playing it a bit safer, seeing that Noah could have ended up in the trees there.
Yeah, and that's a good good play from him. Landing in the fairway, getting the angle to the basket they need. Maybe a long bid, like we mentioned, but this is not your typical misrelease from Luke there. Just didn't quite have the focus that he needed. Marshall getting that overstable disc to land right where he wants it, giving himself the easy par. Here's Thomas. We saw a really nice long putt from him yesterday, unable to get this one to drop. This is Noah's look.
He's left a little bit on the bone, but well inside his usual range. Oh, no.
Hate to see it. Hitting cage. Not typical Noah. The putting that we've seen. This event seems like he's had a couple of those putts where it's just uncharacteristic misses.
And you could kind of see that miss coming. There's some sort of hitch in his stroke. It didn't look like it usually does.
Here's Thomas. He's going to have no problem putting that par in. Getting that stroke. You don't like getting a stroke on a par, but you'll take it when it comes.
Yeah, that puts him back as the solo leader. And as the guys finish out their tap-ins, this was the second hardest hole on the day, playing a third of a stroke over par and producing 0 birdies.
Yeah, and I could see it. I think that was the case for the first round as well. It's a lot of distance that you have to carry, and unfortunately in Canada we're just not at that point where we have that many people that can carry that distance.
And uphill and with the turn so late in the flight of the disc.
Yeah. Hole 14, it's a par 4, 510 feet. Speaking of playing uphills, this is maybe a little bit more of a forgiving par 4. As your first shot, you're going to want to land it somewhere in the fairway here. Anywhere in the short grass is fine, but if you end up in the long grass, not the end of the world. But the key is your second shot. You want it to land, hit this gap, and land somewhere near the basket.
Yeah, access to the keyhole green is very important for scoring. Being too far left or right is going to pinch you off and make that way more challenging than it has to be.
Here's Luke, as you can see from that scorecard. Lots of green here, chasing those guys down. He's only 1 stroke back of Noah. He knows that wanted to get up, but he will have a long look at this one.
Yeah, he was going for the green, but just released a little low. I am sure that a circle hit is well within his range.
Here's Marshall. Not quite the power that Luke has, but see if he can put this one in a strategic place.
Yeah, 510-foot par 4 isn't really asking for a ton of power to birdie. It's only a necessity for the eagle, which, for Marshall might be something you'd look for being quite a few strokes back, but the rest of these guys want a stress-free birdie and to move on.
Speaking of stress-free, Thomas, he puts it into long grass, but he will have the angle towards the opening. Noah, he's capable of putting some power behind a disc, and being 1 stroke down, it's no surprise that he's going to go try to get it on the green on this one.
Yeah, that looks like a D3 from him. Getting maybe a touch more turn than he wanted, but should be in good position to access the green all the same.
I will never be an FPO.
Here we have Thomas. Stop shot. Up by 1 stroke. If he's feeling the pressure, it's not evident because that was a beautiful shot.
Yeah, what a spectacular upshot. Just the slightest ante to keep it pushing straight through the gap. It runs out of speed, settles right under the basket.
Here's Marshall. Also putting this one maybe even closer than Thomas did.
Yeah, 2 great upshots. Noah here, like I said, a little too much turn. Well, it should shape up for the hyzer forehand as long as he's got the distance right.
He will end up in the trees there, but that should be no problem for Noah there. He's close enough to the basket with enough gaps in the trees to make that work. And Luke giving it a half bid there and almost dropping that one in. So you see Noah cleaning up that birdie. As we said, we mentioned this on round 1. Hole 14 is sort of the start of Birdie Alley, as hole 14 to pretty much 18 is all very gettable.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
wait. My bad.
14 being
Yeah,
the easiest hole versus par, and an equally tied easy hole being 16, with all the other holes playing ever so slightly under par.
Here's another look at that upshot from Thomas. Looking to fend off Noah here, as he only has 1 stroke on at the top. A great shot. There he is walking up the hill with Marshall. It's, I was going to mention this. It's, for all the pressure that's on this card, there are good vibes, good smiles. Everyone's having a good time. So, hole 15, par 3, 327 feet, plays downhill. Really about as stock hyzer as you can get. Might want to. Some people might opt to have something fly straight over top of the gap here and crash down into the basket. But I think a lot of these guys are just do a stock hyzer.
Yeah, I think by this time in the round, the guys are starting to settle into this type of shot. We've seen it a few times before. All about getting the width and the distance control right, dropping something in the green.
Yeah, and I think maybe the challenge on this one is trying to not to land into that in that long brush, because it can, like you mentioned a few times, affect your putting stroke. Here's Luke. Ending up in those tall trees there. We'll see if he has an opening. Marshall with a little bit of a lower play.
Yeah, the straighter disc and just a little bit low. Doesn't swing in the way it needs to skip through that gap, and it's going to nestle into the edge of the tree line.
Here's Thomas with a very similar play.
And a much more stable disc.
He will have some distance to the basket still.
Yeah, Noah might be realizing that is his green light to try and score here.
He's opting for that wider approach. Crashing in a little bit early as well.
Yeah, similar location. They might have a putt off on their hands here. Or a pitch out off based on the height of the bushes.
Yeah, and this looks like it's... Well, he's got a little bit of a look, but mostly a pitch out for Thomas here.
Yeah, gotta make the best of what you got in front of you, and there wasn't much.
Here's Noah. See it on his face, feeling the pressure a little bit. Has a look. Just unfortunately unable to execute.
Yeah, he's wearing his heart on his sleeve, showing his emotions there. For how good his height was on that putt, and just to miss it wide, I think he knows he could have done a little bit better.
Yeah, and Luke, unfortunately that's one that you need to get. You're a couple strokes back. It's hole 15, and he knows it. You can tell from his body language that he knows that he needed that one.
Yeah, that could have put him into a tie with Noah potentially, and really changed the outlook for how he's finishing the tournament.
Marshall sneaking one in there.
He has had some great putts this round. You'd love to see it. Big smile on his face, too.
That one looked like it might have just decided to stay resting on the rim, but it does go down for him.
Yeah, mostly playing just to stay in solo fourth for him, but having fun with it, and I think that makes it easier.
Yeah, totally. And it's always nice to have a guy like that on your card, keeping everyone loose. When you got guys like Luke and Noah chasing down Thomas here at the top, it's nice to have that ability to, check yourself every once in a while. Thomas with the smiles. He's having some fun. It's pretty fun being in the lead, so speaking of fun, look at that one.
Yeah, the lip stall and in. Makes your hair stand up on end when that's your putt.
Yeah. And there's the reaction. Just range of emotions coming from Marshall there. That's what we're playing for, the Gold Eagle trophies. Let's take a look at our scoreboard as we are coming to a close here in round 3. We got Thomas at the top at -21, Noah not far behind, -20. Luke only a stroke back of Noah at -19. Really is a 3-horse battle here. Marshall at -14, Jacob at -11, Kyle at -10, Brandon at -9, and then we have Dan, Kristen, and Eric at -11. No, -7. Hole 16, it's a par 3, 321 feet. It does play a little bit uphill, but the key on this one, we talked about hyzers. There's a lot of hyzers coming up. This kind of hyzer alley, birdie alley. This one is all about ground play, as you have this side hill, a funneling disc down to the basket, but it doesn't take much to get that going too far into the trees.
Yeah, this one playing more than a half stroke under par. The big danger is to early release and not make the corner, taking birdie out of the question, or skipping down into the trees too far.
Marshall up first after that. Great birdie that he had on the last hole. Putting this one in real close.
Yeah, the bushy backstop, not much needed, but helpful for other discs that come in with some pace.
Luke needing a stroke here, asking for it to get over.
Yeah, going to be looking for some big ground play here, but the long grass just puts the brakes on.
Thomas, 1 stroke up. Lower play here. Some great ground plays that just settles right close to the basket.
Yeah, that's putting the pressure on Noah. That's exactly what he wants to have happening.
Yeah, and I love the way he had matched the angle of his disc to the angle of the hill and just had it settle in there really nicely.
This is getting beneficial ground play. I
Yes.
thought that was short.
Yeah, and I think that is, like we said, we talked about the ankle of Thomas's just matching the ground. Noah's had a little bit more of a nose down angle, and that's what got the more of the skip in. Luke getting a much needed birdie here to stay in contention. Noah's up next.
This is the point in the tournament where all the weight is on your shoulders. Noah's, not a stranger to these competitions and makes good on his putt. But we'll see how him and Thomas and Luke manage these last few holes.
Yeah, and especially with Noah, he's had a few putting woes already, and that was a good one to see him drop in, get that confident putt back, see if he can bring that confidence into the last couple of holes here.
Let's see what treat Matt has for us for this star frame. Oh, we got baited.
Baited. That's all right, as we did end up with the star frame there, and you love to see it. And you can't talk enough about the pressure that these guys are feeling. Thomas is, at the top, and he's still smiling and having a good time, so you love to see it. Hole 17, it's a par 3, 254 feet. Just get it across the gap and land it somewhere on top of the hill and give yourself a good chance at a putt here.
Yeah, pretty straightforward, especially on a calm day like this one. A little more wind makes it a little tougher to stick it on top. I think, like we saw on 18 with the FPO group, a disc with a lot of pace might produce a big skip down the hill here. Otherwise, pretty routine stuff.
Yeah, you almost want to land it on the face of the hill so that it skips up to the basket, because anything on the other side has that danger of going too far, especially with that short grass.
Yeah, Marshall's roll gets caught by the long grass. He'll be at the edge of the circle for his birdie putt.
Here's Luke. The forehand play.
One time, drop.
Well, asking for it to drop, and it does. He will have a putt, but that's definitely within his range.
Yeah, nobody parked yet. Thomas looking like he's going to take the first crack at a backhand here. And I like this width a lot better than the forehands.
Yes. That's the second time we've seen someone hit the pole on this hole.
Yeah, that's right. We have a nice bullseye hit. Pole or not, I think that one was sticking.
Yeah.
And I think this is a baseline A2 from Noah. A lot of stability in that baseline plastic, likely to grip up on the ground.
Able to land this one up real nice.
Yeah, like you said, the front edge, so you don't get the long skip or roll off the backside. Not as close as Thomas, but that's kind of how you want to game plan the hole.
Yeah, and you know, coming into hole 17, Thomas is up by a stroke. You know Noah's feeling a little bit of pressure, and it's just nice to see him execute with nice calm as we watch Marshall put this one in, putting on a little bit of a putting clinic in the last little while here.
Yeah, he hasn't been missing, and I like the little half run it in.
Here's Luke getting his birdie to drop. Moves into a temporary tie with Noah, who is close enough that I think we can call this a gimme for him.
Oh, yeah. Nervy after that reaction.
Yeah.
Noah happy to be picking his disc up from the bottom of the basket.
Does look like we are going to get another star frame here as we see Thomas and Noah duking it out. Luke, kind of seems like he's running out of holes here.
Well, he's only one back of second place. Second's only one back of first, and we've got one to play. We could see a playoff or, you know, a new leader outright.
That's true. Anything can happen on hole 18 as we are on to the final hole of the Gold Eagle Open. Hole 18, it's a par 3, 292 feet. Not a lot of wind to contend with, so you could play either the forehand or the backhand. Typically on this hole, the wind is what makes your decision for you.
Yeah, there's a slope just like 17, but a very big, generous green, and it would take a pretty egregious misrelease from this caliber of player to totally put themselves out of play in this hole.
Yeah, and honestly, one of the prettiest hole 18s that we've seen on the tour this year. If you haven't been out to Jackfish Lake, I highly recommend it.
Sick battle.
Good meeting you, Noah.
Unreal.
Good meeting you, Thomas.
That sick battle.
You guys all come to
Really
Winnipeg
good
now.
battle right to the end. So we watch Marshall leading off for final hole. Opting for the forehand with something stable. A little bit short.
Yeah, safe. He's got a good opportunity at a safe putt as well. I haven't seen the scoreboard check-in, but I believe he is very comfortable in solo fourth regardless of what happens.
Yeah, and Luke needing something special here. A little bit long. But really, you got to think he's going for the ace on that hole.
Yeah, you got to try something. You know, his cushion to Marshall is also pretty sizable, so it gives him the green light to do anything to get that disc in the chains, and he still lands well within his putting range.
Here's Thomas to put the pressure on Noah.
This, oh, it's got good stability. It looks a little inside, but just short.
Advantage Noah here.
Yeah, if Noah can bullseye this disc, that puts so much pressure on Thomas to hit his putt. This will decide if we've got a chance to go to a playoff.
You can tell Noah's taking his time. Needs to execute this. Puts the backhand.
Oh my gosh.
An unfortunate roll away. I hate to see it.
Keep rolling.
Yeah, Noah asking if it kept going or not, and it rolled until it was out of frame, but the long grass usually does stop these. Oh, Noah is out, so advantage back to Thomas.
Noah needs to make this. just not quite getting the height. It's always hard to calculate that height. That is you're not shooting super high on an uphill, but you have to get it at just the right height as we watch Luke here.
And that was Luke's chance to tie Noah for second. Thomas with the green light just to lay up and take his tournament win home.
All smiles for Thomas there, as he will be your Gold Eagle champion, as we watch Marshall finishing out that putting clinic. Look at the back nine. What a great showing for Marshall. Started off a little rough, but able to put together a good round, and he's all smiles.
Yeah, walking away happy, leaving with a birdie. You know, unless you have a time machine, he's done everything he could in his last few holes.
And what a great battle between these two, Noah and Thomas. You can see it there. You can see the love. You love to see it. Thomas getting his first A-tier win here at the Gold Eagle Open.
Well, congratulations, sir. On behalf of Battlefords Disc Golf and the rest of the Gold Eagle team, it's my pleasure to crown the 2024 Gold Eagle champion, Thomas Germann. Put your hands together.
There you have it. At the end of the tournament, we get the proper pronunciation. It's Thomas Germann.
Yeah, and he can't wait to lift that trophy. Big smile on his face.
And it's not a light trophy. I tried lifting that thing. It's not a light trophy.
No way. And what a spectacular trophy. That might be the best one we've got on tour.
Yeah, it's got to be up there. Huge congratulations. What a battle. Watching Noah and Thomas duke it out that whole round, and even having Luke putting the pressure on them.
Yeah.
I feel like it really elevated all of their games. We talked about Noah getting the course record of -11. There was a couple of -10s in there.
Yeah, 4 or 5 leader changes as well. Not much more you could ask for in the finish of A-tier disc golf tournament.
And there you have it. There's our final scoreboard of the day. Thomas, as you saw there, taking down the win by 1 stroke over Noah, who had a 1-stroke lead over Luke, and Marshall battling to -17. Kyle and Jacob tied for 5th, -12. Logan and Brandon at -8, and then we got Daniel and Kristen at -7. Thank you so much for watching our coverage of the Gold Eagle Open. What a blast.
Yeah, I can't wait for a chance to get out there, play this event, and experience the Gold Eagle for myself.
Let's take a look at our Canadian Disc Golf Tour overall championship leaderboards. There is 1 point separating Casey and Noah at this point, as Noah able to jump up the standings as well as Luke here, and that's a pretty hefty top 6 right there.
Yeah, you can definitely see the split between the guys playing the East events and the West events. Cam Zanini, Martin Handel, Thomas Gilbert, Chris Bork pushing it for the East, and Casey Hannemeyer and Noah Higgins, the top of the West.
Thanks again for watching, and join us next time. We got Nationals coming up.
Let's go.